like in the past, people they thought that being active is like, hey, okay, I have a gym membership, whether I use it or not, it doesn't care much, but I'm going to just one gym. We have more than 50 sports in our platform, and we have more than 13,000 sports partners across Europe. So I think it was really a game changing. It's pretty much like the Netflix for doing sports, call it, right?
Today, my guest is Afonso. Afonso is head of the international growth at Urban Sports Club. Now, Afonso, thank you very much for joining me today. Welcome to my podcast. Please introduce yourself, introduce the company, tell us most importantly what you guys do and who for.
Let's do that. Thank you so much, Pete, for having me in your podcast. It's a really honor and a privilege to be here and also to share what we do at Urban Sports Club. So first of all, my name is Afonso Rodrigues. So that's the Portuguese pronunciation of my name. So as you can see, I'm Portuguese. I'm Portuguese based, and I work at Urban Sports Club. And I'm not sure if you guys know what Urban Sports Club is, but pretty much we have like a very clear purpose and vision for what we stand for, right? And the mission is quite clear: is to actually to inspire people to lead active and healthy lives, right? And I know that it's a very generic purpose, but it's also very meaningful. Also because I think the inspirational aspect over the purpose, it's not meant by random case, right? It's really meaningful. And of course, when you try to inspire people, you need to accept that you're trying to challenging people who are not as accepting or willing to just do it by themselves. Or you really need to create a strong value proposition to really nudge the habits and the lifestyle of certain people, right? It has been a journey. So Urban Sports Club was founded in 2012 in Berlin by Moritz and Benjamin, which are still our founders and co-CEOs. And of course, like Urban Sports Club at the beginning was, of course, very heavily investing in the German market and of course, to try to consolidate the position in the German market. But since then, through acquisitions, Urban Sports Club has gone from one market, which was Germany, up to 8 markets as of today. So we're trying to create the best European sports offer there is. And that's pretty much been a journey with a lot of successes, also with a lot of failures and some learnings. But I think that's one of the core values and one of our USPs has definitely been like the learning curve, and how we are really willing to fail and to test new stuff and to try to innovate and to fail again and to definitely to try to learn better, I would call it.
Amazing. What a great approach. And I love approaches like this in companies, right? We just want to fail fast, fail better, more times, because, I've read something good about it. If you would know that you're going to fail 25 times until you have a success, how quickly you're going to fail that 25 times, right? Because
Absolutely.
you just want them to have that 26th opportunity, right? Anyway, I absolutely love what you do. And obviously we've met before this podcast and we had a bit more discussion, but tell me about that unique, selling point. You need that offer that you have against my local gym here, because there is this most fascinating part about what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely what Moritz and Benjamin they found out. Also because they understood that they also had the need, and in terms of like sports usage, there was not an offer for it, right? And that's exactly why Urban Sports Club was founded. Because I think that like in the past, people they thought that being active is like, hey, okay, I have a gym membership, whether I use it or not, it doesn't care much. But I'm going to just one gym. But what about people who really want to have like this integrated 360 approach to doing sports and even to just lead an active lifestyle, and like just geographic limitation, gym limitation, sports limitation? That's exactly what Urban Sports Club try to solve, right? And pretty much as of today, just for you to know, I think it's good. It's curious because we have more than 50 sports in our platform, and we have more than 13,000 sports partners across Europe. So as you can see, if you're, for example, one day you're working from Berlin, but you're going on a business trip or on a personal trip to Lisbon, for example, and you can keep working out, not only in your gym, but also you can do a surfing lesson, or you can go and try to play paddle with some of your friends or your colleagues. So really having like this holistic approach on how to do sports, I think it was really game changing. It's pretty much like the Netflix for doing sports, I would call it, right? So it's really having like, you can do sports, what sports you want to do it, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it. And that's pretty much why Urban Sports Club was founded.
Wow. Netflix for sport. Absolutely love this. So let me just try to understand you better. I am a member of my local gym. I'm not actually a big gym goer. I like classes. So, for example, historically, a company would have people in the office here, right? And they would say, hey, we all bought you this membership for this gym. A lot of people are not gym goers. They like sport, but not the necessary gym. And some people that are remote team, they work in a different city, kind of left out, right? If the management didn't sort them out with something locally. For you solving this, you've got 13,000 venues. And so like, no, we want you to be sporty. You can be into yoga, surfing, gym, cycling, running. Doesn't matter what it is. It's not where you are, doesn't matter, because it's going to be somewhere locally to you. One subscription, like in a Netflix, and you can go and pick what suits you best, time, location. And so absolutely love this. Am I correct in this assumption?
You are absolutely correct. And I think you can recall it, Pete, that already in the beginning, I told you like the purpose of Urban Sports Club was to inspire people to lead active and healthy lives, right? Now, I said that inspiration was not meant just by default. It was like, we really mean it. But the thing is, like, when you want to inspire people, also your approach you need to make sure that like, you have the least amount of excuses possible for the target people that you want to inspire. Right? So if I want to inspire you, Pete, to lead this active and healthy lifestyle, but like you have your gym membership, but as you said, I don't want to work out and I want like to lift heavy weights and all of that. But for example, you would be very much open to try CrossFit one day, or try, for example, like to try a surfing lesson, or doing, for example, playing paddle with your friends. So what we're trying to do by having like this 50 sports offer, which actually we have some good news also to share on top of that, it's really to try to get the least amount of excuses possible from the offer perspective, at least. So you really want to test and try new stuff. That's definitely something that we have seen in the past, not only for the people who already do sports, right? And thankfully we had a lot of people who are long time active, but especially for those who are still not, we really want to make sure that they can try new stuff that they have never had the opportunity. Because, hey, if you want to go, for example, and try horse riding, how do I do it? With Urban Sports Club, we have it in our offer, right? Hey, I would like to try CrossFit, but I need to pay up front to get like a membership. Well, with Urban Sports Club, you can try new stuff. You can try to find what's your sweet spot to really have this active and healthy lifestyle. And that's been the journey. That's been the mission, to really have the best 360 approach of doing sports. And I have other stuff also to talk on top of the sports users, of course.
Awesome. Removing excuses. And you know what? That's what I like about this company. Any gym, any sport, right? They can put your slogan on their website. Because it looks nice, but you actually do that's the focus. Like, you remove excuses, you bring to the gyms to the people, rather than like, oh, you need to be here at a certain time. If someone's like, I don't know, it's not for me, hey, why don't you try yoga before your difficult meeting, and next week you're in Berlin, right? It's there, even if that person's never been in Berlin, right? It's right next to your hotel.
Absolutely.
Like
and we also say like one of our challenges on this inspirational journey is like, it's always the first check-in, right? Which is, if you're not as used to like to do sports, you're always reluctant to, hey, I've never been to the gym, or I've never been to like a CrossFit venue. How do I do a check-in with the Urban Sport Club app? Like, hey, I need to talk with people. And the first check-in is the first, but the biggest and the most important step to really be inspired to lead this active and healthy lifestyle.
Awesome. I will ask you a follow-up question later about this, if you use this in your sales. But let's talk about your typical client, right? I take it COVID must have helped you, because there are more remote teams. There is more, focus on well-being of a team and health, and everyone's got that awareness about this. And you help them to it doesn't matter if the team's remote, to also bring the same level of benefits and goods that it actually brings. So, who is your typical client to start with?
Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting question, because I told you in the beginning, like, we try to inspire people. So overall, in theory, actually everybody should be our target and our ICP, right? But that's actually not like that. That's actually not as real. First of all, because we have a limitation, right? We are definitely working on, which is Urban Sports Club like works with a partner supply, right? So physically, of course, we have like online offer, but definitely we still can say like 98%, I think, of all the overall check-ins, they are still on-site check-ins, at least in some of the countries, like, for example, Portugal. So definitely like the physical supply. So the gyms, the CrossFit venues, they really represent a very big sum of the overall check-ins that we have. So of course, we have already the limitation whether if you are in a city or in a small village, there's no supply, of course, it wouldn't make sense that we try to target that corporate account, for example. Right? Definitely also because we are called Urban Sports Club, we have been targeting, of course, especially the big urban centers, right? So like Berlin, Cologne, Munich, Paris, Madrid, Barcelona, Amsterdam, and also, of course, Porto and Lisbon. So because also typically these are the locations where like not only like the big enterprise account, but definitely SMBs, they are located. And I have to say that what we have been working on in the past years, which is really try to segment and to tier our ICP based on sizes of the companies, but also based on industries, right? For example, it's important to say, like, of course, like the big consulting firms, of course, you know that like if you're working like in a big consulting firm, like the workload and the stress levels, like, and it's very demanding environment. And I will definitely say that post-COVID, these type of companies, they raise the awareness and like the importance of really thinking of the employee as a person and just not as a professional. That is as equal as important to have like this right skill and competence set, but of course, making sure that they have the best seamless experience to work in a company, right? And definitely COVID helped to raise the bar in terms of like mental health and physical health awareness. And that's pretty much something that we have focusing on in the past. It has been a journey also because like the value proposition on a company is like a consulting firm or, for example, like a factory, it's different because also the type of employee they have, it's completely different type of qualification, different type of sports expectation, right? And I think that's pretty much what we try to face in the past years is really to define clearly what's the value proposition from different type of companies, different types of employees, different types of locations. And that's been a journey. I think we are in the best position that we ever had, but it's definitely also a journey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can absolutely, see that. Number one, anyone should be your client, right? Anyone should be looking after the staff in this best way, the best gift that they can give them outside of the wages, right? In the eyes of employees. So like, hey, we removed all the barriers to it. We're paying for this. We're giving you this opportunity. In the last couple of years, maybe even since COVID, what's been working for you to approach those clients in the first place? Is it some events? Is it some people coming to you already that they have, some gym membership or something for the employees, but it's just not enough? Is it some digital strategies that's been really working for you to educate? What's been really performing the best for you?
Yes, I think that there's multiple factors that I would like to add on my answer to that. Like the first one, which is Urban Sports Club was like when it was founded, it was actually focused on B2C stream, right? So it was actually not designed at the beginning for companies. That was a strategy shift that actually happened around late 2019, beginning of 2020, actually. So like it was a shift. But the thing is like all the B2C members, so like everyday people who can actually subscribe Urban Sports Club, they can have on Netflix. They were the first and the more important ambassadors that we have because the vast majority of people, they work for a certain company, right? And if it's good for them, if they can see the value proposition of Urban Sports Club individually, why wouldn't it make sense for other colleagues to have the same experience, right? If they see the value and the fit of that, why shouldn't colleagues? And if the colleagues would also see the right fit from the company to really have like the social connection of sport, to really have like a best mental and physical health on their workforce, like reducing sick days, reducing employee churn and turnover, right? So all of these make sense, and that was exactly when we tried at first when we saw that if the population see this as a good thing for them, why shouldn't corporates, why shouldn't employees, why shouldn't colleagues look at all the return of investment possibilities for companies? And as you said, COVID, I think it was a game changer in terms of like the importance of really having a strong culture as a company, but overall a strong, seamless approach to how to treat employees from a professional and from a skill and competence set, but also to have like these very good experience. So really making sure they can do some sports together. They have time off, as you said. And I think that was definitely game changing. And then also just to finalize the point,
Sure.
I think
Sure.
on top of that, something that we have also realized, and of course, in terms like of company acquisition, of course, we have a lot of strategies. One of them is actually being outcome based from our existing customers. So I have to say that we try to focus not just like securing the revenue, getting another customer, really focusing on the ROI and if we meet the expectations of the customers. I have to say that like in our onboarding journey, when we actually hand over a deal to the onboarding phase, we even ask the contact person and the HR manager or the chief people officer, what do you expect from the partnership? Is just reducing turnover, is to reinforce the social connection of people, is to improve your NPS. So we try to, of course, apart from the inspirational part of things and like the user experience, to really try to work with companies to really make sure that we meet their expectations in terms of like the return of investments. And when if that's sorted, it's so powerful because referrals, good customer referrals, I think it's definitely already a very big new customer stream. I would call it.
Love the outcome based right approach. I'm always a big fan of really speaking about the outcome. It's not a gym. What is the outcome? What is your company is going to achieve from this? About your team, about productivity, about even probably money results later, right? And if you can showcase that on some case study, beautiful strategy. And it's I started thinking when you mentioned about that pivot from B2C to B2B. And then actually, yes, everyone is employed by someone. So the B2C client could be also your client, not paying directly, but also the user. And I had a very, very similar conversation with someone else of that's your champion, right? Like all you need to convince is Jenny, who loves the sport. She knows more about your company that you can find online, right? Convince them is like great. And they'll find a way of connecting them to the actual decision makers because Jenny's going to know, right, that our company should have that. Our team is between Portugal, Germany, and everyone is sporty, and we always struggle with finding, right? So just pivoting from this of using them as your champions to promote you to those decision makers, because you follow the risk of at outreach of being like any other offer that is very similar, right? At the very, very surface level, you're like, okay, it's another sport for my team. It's 20th this month that I got an offer of something, right? But you completely different. Absolutely interesting. Okay. And how do you approach, that very first touch point? What's been like from very pure, outbound, inbound marketing levels? What's been historically working for you the best to start connecting with those people that you want to work with?
Yeah, first of all, something that's actually a very, very good question. It's actually something that, like, if you made that question to me 3 to 4 years ago, I would give you a completely different answer. I think that we had been working on that massively, and I think, like, I think I might sound repetitive myself, but sometimes it's really going why Urban Sports Club was founded, right? And I have to say that there's always going to be another product. There was always going to be another competitor who offer like a better feature or the app works better, whatever it is. But like, what do we expect in terms of the outcome? Like, really to inspire people to really lead these active and healthy lives, and also what is our service to really make sure that we get the outcome that we expect from each customer. And I have to say that we don't only do this in the onboarding phase. This is actually even a strong part of our AE's pitch when they are actually trying to either qualify a lead or getting like on a demo to really making sure that they fully understand what are the options with Urban Sports Club. So we try to definitely focus massively on what if their expectations matches Urban Sports Club purpose. And of course, trying to gather as much information to really bring a concrete action plan to make sure that we meet with their expectations. And I think this is definitely, and sometimes I think that sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things and to try to come up like with crazy big changes. I'm going to change this and automate that, like really nudging the foundational of your pitch and the expectations of your customers and really connecting the dots. And I think that's definitely something that we have worked massively in the past. And it was definitely one of the biggest learnings, I have to say. So I think like 2 or 3 years ago, we were too focused on like, hey, we do this, we do that. We have this new feature. We have to do that. Like, but typically people, they want to acquire because they expect something. They have something they need, right? Whether the turnover of their workforce is not as good or the social connection and really time for people to mingle, it's not as great according to the ENPS survey that they have posted. And this is exactly like, if you don't make the questions and if you don't have a purpose and you don't know what's expected, it's never going to pay out. Even if you acquire the customer, it's never going to be a long time customer with you. And that's definitely been a very important learning, but also a development that we have made in the past 2 or 3 years, I'd call it.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely love this. And I'm still looking at my notes from I had from a earlier part of the conversation, that first visit. That's your deal breaker, right? If someone goes the first time and they're familiar, they now a sport person, they went through this, they can go now to Lisbon, check in a different month. To utilize that in your sales, because obviously me as a market and sales, I'll be like, if I can for €10 get you through the biggest hurdle that you have, I'll do that as many times as I can, right? To as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to jump on a second conversation with you saying, hey, how was it, Jenny?
Absolutely. And as I said, like the first check-in when you really want to inspire people who are not as active or not active at all, it's really game changing for them, but also for us. So our
Yeah.
challenge, if we want to inspire, is first of all, we know that incentivation is really important, right? So if people, they need to be challenged, they need to challenge their status quo to really try new stuff. That's how a human brain works, right? So incentivation, it's definitely something that we have worked. So we have multiple initiatives already in place. We're still working on quite a few.
Mhm.
Definitely the social connection. It's really, really important to try to, I would say, improve like the complexity of really doing the check-in, because some people are just shy and, hey, I'm going to a sports venue by myself. I don't know anybody. I don't know like the reception. I don't know how it actually looks like. So, but if you have a colleague or if you have a friend that you can actually go with them and to work out, that's far easier, right? And having like reinforcing this social connection through gamification, I would say it's definitely one of the biggest priorities that we have at the company right now. So we have a lot of projects going on to really bringing AI and gamification through social connectivity to really make sure that we can inspire as many people to do the first check-in, to try new stuff, and to really change their lives.
I absolutely love this. How you approaching this, and gamification is it's huge. It just gives our brains, there was something in our brains that everyone just loves this. A couple clicks, a couple emojis, some virtual points actually do something to our brain unimaginable. And I love that you're playing with this already. Tell me, just before we wrap up, about internally how you've been discussing how you're going to approach sales and marketing. Is there any big pivot? Is it in a strategy more of something that you're going to be doing for the next, let's say, 12 months, maybe 24?
So first of all, I'm definitely going to focus on what's ahead. But I think actually we have wrapped up a very big project already in the past, and I think I told you beforehand that like I think one of the main successes at Urban Sports Club is that like we haven't steered the company with an arrogance posture like, hey, this is what we envision, this is going to go for, but rather like we need to pulse and we need to understand what our community wants and what they see fit as like the best value proposition they have. Like now we work with nutrition apps, with sleeping apps, with online offer as the biggest online offer that we ever had. And this actually came from pulse surveys that we had with our members. So really is the community, Sports Club community is really the one who is steering actually where the company is going. We are the technical and the facilitators to make sure that like the what and the how are delivered. So that's pretty much what we are focusing on. And at this stage, there's definitely a big news going on at this stage at Urban Sports Club and at the company. But I have to say, like in terms of like process optimization, the integration of AI to make sure that like we have the best seamless gamified experience to our users, that's definitely one of the things that we are focusing on right now. So through innovation, we will think that we will be able to increase our activation rate per customers, and that's definitely something that's one of the big challenges, because inspirational always seems to be like very optimistic keyword, but it's so hard, right? You need to challenge the status quo, and I think everybody knows that like the impacts of doing sports are massive on your health, on like coronary diseases, like to really prolong your lifetime expectancies. But really doing that, really getting out, getting up, not going to your couch, to eat properly, to do some sports, to go running, to go just walking, and that's definitely something that we are trying to focus, to really make sure that we inspire people through a gamified, seamless 360, not only sports offer, but rather more an active lifestyle offer.
Your actions really show that whatever you put as what you do, you actually do that. Essentially, that's your aim. It's not just some sentence that, because it looks nice. You actually, that's the focus. So if any of those listeners and our followers would like to find out more how they could bring Netflix off sport to their team, even if it's remote, right? Where could they find more information about this?
So first of all, I'm happy to connect with everybody wants to through LinkedIn. I'll definitely try to reply as fast as you can. And if you want to have like just more information, or if you want to connect with someone in our local markets, I'll be more than happy to facilitate that. And I think if you can go to urbansportsclub.com, you're going to have a lot of information. Like you have a corporate section, they can really go, of course, to already like there's some questions that to really try to identify what type of customer that you have, what you need. And of course, if you want to connect with everybody with our team, you can also do that. I will also like to invite to check on YouTube. So we have a lot of events and like video testimonials with some B2B customers that we have there. So really, it's not us telling what we do, but really having our customers to tell you what they have done with us, what were their expectations, and also, of course, if we could inspire more people on their workforce to lead active and healthy lifestyles.
Absolutely. I love this. And we will leave all those links below. So please check it out, because, that excuses that you had, oh, it's not here, location, not different types of sport. These guys make this appear for you, your team, and the benefits. Everyone at this stage knows about the benefits of regular exercise. Afonso, thank you very much for introducing the company, sitting with me today and discussing this, sharing, all the insights and how you guys are approaching this, and really explaining to me that you really stand behind of what you say on your website, that's what you want to do. And that's why I can see why you guys growing, and you will be growing. So thank you very much for today. I really, really appreciated that.
Thanks so much, Pete, for having me.